Everyone, yeah, good man. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks. Market is pumping, so I'm a happy man. I might just share the link in a few different groups, just to get some eyes in the chat. So I might do that. But Craig, do you want to just tell us a little bit about what you're looking at the moment in the charts?
Yeah. Look, I've just woken up and yeah, good morning, everyone. It's what's it, 8 a.m. in Australia now for those people not from around here. So we're in the morning. So Greeny and I have kind of just woken up and I suppose just quickly checking what's going on. I did have a look last night, but Solana, obviously, I've woken up and that's all over my timeline. So obviously it's gone up, and yeah, $80 and what 9% for the day. So I guess that's gonna grab everyone's attention today. I've seen everyone's rich on the timeline, so yeah, that's probably the vibe today.
A little Christmas pre-Christmas pump, which you love to see it. No, so guys, yeah, thanks for all being here. I know we're live on Twitter. Actually, I've just had a look now. I don't think we have. Oh, we got 4 viewers on Twitter, so thanks for tuning in. I'm sure more people will jump in as well, and we're live on YouTube, so that's excellent. No, so obviously, if you are here on YouTube or if you're watching on Twitter, guys, please like the stream. Obviously, it helps the algo recognize us as both content creators in the space, and we really do appreciate your support. We'll probably run for, I don't know, maybe an hour and a half today. Just again, talking all things Web3. So we'll be looking obviously at the markets first. Last week we took a quite a long term mindset. We looked at charts probably on the weekly sort of mindset. Today we might zoom in a little bit, see what's going to happen maybe as we move into the end of the year, into 2024, and see if there's any potential trades opening up in them. So altcoins, obviously, and then we might look at NFTs. We might talk a bit about the Saga phone at the moment as well, which is just ripping on Solana and some insane eBay sales, etc. So just a general market overview. Again, GM to everyone in the chats. I'll do my best to try and track this on YouTube and Twitter, guys. So if you do have any questions, please chuck it. Probably easier if you are on YouTube, just because I can have that chat up nice and easily. But please, yeah, if you have questions, I'll get to them as soon as possible. But GM, everyone, thanks for being here, and Craig, thanks for being here again, mate.
Yeah, thank you, mate. Yeah, good to be here. Nice to see the market pumping, like you said, sort of pre-Christmas bonus for us all.
Yeah.
Yeah, Solana absolutely ripping. Looks like Bitcoin's doing well. The Solana phone's obviously getting heaps of action at the moment. So yeah, we've got tons to talk about, really.
Tons to cover. So let's just start. Obviously, it's always good to just start in the markets. Actually, let's share this screen first. We'll go coin market cap first. Okay, there we go. And then if I put that on the screen. All right, guys, I'm starting to get better with my restream. All right, let's put it on the side. That's probably a bit nicer too. All right, so as you can see on the screen, guys, we're looking at the markets. Obviously, it's great to see. Look at this. Solana's top 5 now. It's overtaken XRP. I shared that last night after Miles shared that. I said it's actually going to go top 3. Obviously, Tether is quite a lot. It's at, what's the market cap? 90 bills. So Solana still needs a 3x to overtake Tether, but I genuinely think it will. Minimum, in my opinion. I was listening to Nifty Boys just before about their show this morning in America time, and again, Easy's target 690. I think on my fib target, I've got a target about the 630 range, so that's maybe where I start to aggressively take profit. But I definitely think all-time highs is where you need to start thinking about maybe taking some off the table as we move into 2024 and possibly 2025. So again, I'll rank it in a minute, but these are the top 10. It's good to see a lot of green in the last 24 hours. ABAC's also up 6%. So again, it's the narratives that we've been spoken about, Craig, for the last couple of weeks. Hey.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, I mean, the two that you've been speaking about as well, Solana and AVAX, are the two that moved up nicely. I mean, obviously, what Solana is that? Oh, yeah, 13% for the week. AVAX, you got almost 6%. Yeah, no, great to see those two moving up nicely, which is what I was kind of expecting coming further and further into the bull run. Those are the two big ones I'm looking at.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, it's all looking pretty good. In fact, especially for you and Solana, man. I know you're heavy into Solana.
My bags are very full on Solana, so that's great to see. And but again, it's testament to so much stuff that we've covered over the past few weeks, hey, on Spaces and in streams and whatnot. Like, there's just so much fun to be had on Solana. So many people can get into it because it's readily accessible. It's super cheap, so you could have $100 and turn that into 1,000 super easy. There's NFTs on there. There's airdrops on there. There's like so much to do. Meme coins. My group's been trading meme coins on Solana for weeks and just been doing so well. So yeah, plenty to do in the market, and it's great to see some of these run up. some people have been talking about some other layer 1s and layer 2s, which are starting to run too. So we've got Injective protocol. We might look at some of those. I've got the tabs open to look at some of the meme coins and the NFTs on Injective later as well. Immutable, great to see. So the gaming tokens are starting to run as well. Phantom as another layer 1, layer 2 in that narrative. Celestia, again, another layer 1, layer 2 sort of narrative, as well as HBAR and stuff as well. So it's good to see the market moving up. And again, you just got to be in the right narratives. Like if you're not, then you're going to be stuck in some of those tokens that just aren't going to really rip. So one thing I do want to just share, where did I pull it up on my Twitter before? Let me just find it. All right, so I might, show this tab here. So I hope you can see this on the screen. Let's have a look. Yeah, you can, sweet. Watch Your Guru just posted this about half an hour ago, but Bitwise releases a second spot BTC ETF commercial, which is, again, super, super bullish for this space. I know that we touched on this slightly before as well, but Solana Saga phones are selling for $5K on eBay. Like that's a 10x. Basically a 10x if you got in early on those. I know a few of the boys who are heavy on Solana probably copped them a few months ago, and obviously bonks run up, so you could sell your bonk and sell the phone for $5,000, and you can make like $6,000 easy these days. So it's great to see. I know, Craig, you copped one of these phones, didn't you?
Yeah, I grabbed a couple of them. Yeah, luckily they haven't shipped yet, so unfortunately I can't claim the win just yet. But I've enjoyed seeing sort of what they're selling for on eBay, and then seeing sort of various coins come along and say they're going to do airdrops to it. So that's looking like a sweet one, man. That may be the talk of the town for quite a while.
I think so, dude. Yeah, I think so for sure. And like particularly if they keep airdropping, even if it's like a couple $100, like if for new tokens and that sort of thing, and Bonk just keeps ripping up. I think Bonk is going to overtake Shiba as the second highest meme coin. There's still a lot of room to go. I'll try and pull that up on the charts, but what are your thoughts there?
Yeah, well, that's the way it's looking like, and I suppose for Solana, they're kind of heavily incentivized to have Bonk running, isn't it? Whatever that might mean. So it's kind of like, I suppose, because they've got it on their phone, it's kind of their flagship second. I guess it's more of a fun retail product, isn't it? If you want to call it a product. But just branding wise, I like the way Solana position themselves. The timing of this phone is impeccable by them. When I really thought about it and thinking, do they want to get into the space as far as phones? At first I thought no. Then I thought, man, that's quite an aggressive step. They must have a massive marketing push behind this. And then before the phone sort of dropped, you had that bonk, what's it, the days of Christmas, how many ever days they're doing. So it looks like Solana is just leaning heavily into marketing now, and it looks like the kind of way a company would behave, kind of really wanting to push for their 2 spot or really push ETH out the way now. So it's super exciting.
It's super exciting, and that's it. Like there's innovators on there, there's developers on there, there's games that are going on there. The NFTs have had a great run in different ways. Like the highest was super pumped up a couple of months ago, where people are actually playing games. There's plenty of passive games on Solana. There's Gamblify on Solana. So I honestly think it's just the narrative. And like again, if we dive into the actual Solana ecosystem, you can see it's just been trending up and up over the past few weeks, obviously. But there's green across the board, across all things Solana. Now, obviously, some of these tokens like Chainlink, they run on several different blockchains and whatnot. But if you have a look here, guys, like again, Solana is pumping. Like, look at this. That was the airdrop Jitto recently. Radium's been on an absolute tear. Like, look at that chart. Like, that's a crazy return. Same as Orca and same as the Jupiter and stuff. Like, like in crypto, you want to be in the right trends. If you're not, then you're probably not going to be making as much money as you potentially could. Is my theory.
Yeah, you can't. It's funny. I heard a few people were heavily pushing Solana around the $8-9 mark. People were screaming buy, and seeing it hit $80 today, I was like, wow, that's a 10x on those calls, and that was only. Geez, I don't know how long in crypto world that's a bit out with your times. Well, what, 3 months?
Yeah, I'd say 3 months. Yeah.
Like 3 months for a 10x.
Crazy return. Crazy.
We're not talking meme coin here where you go to sleep at night and you wonder if it's going to be zero when you wake up. This is a coin that you can kind of, I feel like at $8 you could park money in, and the downside was minimal and the upside's massive. So congrats to everybody who who had the balls to pick that up at $8-9, you're laughing today. You're going,
yeah, 100%. No, yeah, shout out to everyone and their conviction. And the Nifty boys were talking about that. I think it's conviction, and I think they touched on a really good point actually in their show today. I just watched that before about portfolio management, and I'm actually going to do a YouTube video on that probably in the next couple of days, because a lot of people in I'm sure in the groups that we run, Craig, and the groups that you see and people on the timeline, like a lot of them are probably overexposed to trading meme coins with the amount of percentage of their portfolio. And I know I've spoken to you about this quite a lot, and you don't want, like, honestly, how much I reckon my bags for trading meme coins would be less than 1% per trade on those meme coins. In terms of my whole portfolio, would yours be around that sort of figure as well?
Probably less.
Yeah.
Yeah, at most 1%, but probably less. You mean per trade?
Yeah, per trade, but also probably just the money that you have in your Phantom wallet or your AVAX wallet.
Oh, okay, yeah. At the moment, probably through the bear, probably a lot more, probably more like 20%, 30% at some stages. At the moment, it's reduced significantly, and you're probably talking less than 5% now. But that's, for me personally, that's going to change heavily. Well, it has been. It's altcoins. I'm increasing a lot. And meme coins I'm starting to decrease a lot now, because with altcoin potential being so high at the moment, I kind of feel there's no need to put my capital at such risk.
Yeah.
I mean, altcoins, for everyone listening, are still risky in themselves, but really leading into this run coming up now, I was kind of thinking about this even last night when I was doing the old portfolio check, what I really want to invest heavily into and how narratives are looking at the moment. And, there's a few meme coins in there, which I'll run for the bull, definitely. But there's, parking money in some of these sort of mid caps now feels pretty good. And I was sort of looking at it last night, and a lot of the coins I was looking at are AVAX, Sol, Immutable X. They're still about 4 times off all-time high, 3 to 4.
Yeah, around that range. Yeah.
So I was kind of thinking, trying to look at things from a bullish perspective, but often when I'm putting the money in, more bearish or pessimistic. And really, if you put money in now, sort of a 3-4x. The way I was looking at it, like I was thinking, worst case, I put money in there. How long will I get stuck for? Probably not a long time. Versus 2 years through the bear, which we've all copped. So it feels pretty good.
I think so too. And I think that's the mindset that you just got to have. Like, we've been around a while. We put our hard earned sort of time into the last year or so, particularly the first 6 months of this year, we're very bearish. I think obviously with the FTX debacle and several other things like the Luna collapse and whatnot, I think it was the right time to certainly just be conviction plays. And like we spoke about, like, you're right, it's the altcoins that you want to have the majority of your bag in, like, obviously the top coins like Solana and AVAX and BTC and ETH, but then you want to have exposure to those altcoins that can easily 10x across a couple months period or within a month, depending on what the narrative is and all that type of stuff. So we'll dive into the charts and we'll have a look on the shorter time frames just to see what's happening. But I'll pull this up now. So this is the total crypto market cap. So as you can see here, we've obviously consolidated for about about a week and a half now. 23 days. So literally 3 weeks if it goes to the apex of the triangle here. But I'm starting to look, okay, like we're hitting Christmas. Like, a lot of people probably aren't going to be in the markets trading actively, that sort of thing. So I do think we maybe just chop for a little bit while longer till maybe 2024, and then maybe we look for either a move up or a move down, depending on what's happening. Again, it's very. We ran a spaces last night with Einstein and Mad Rag, some other Aussie boys in the space, we ran a couple polls and we asked around whether it's a sell the news event when the ETFs drop, and it's actually fascinating. Like, it was about 60% said no, but 30% said yes. And I honestly, like, my conviction is it far exceeds just that news. I think that news is definitely a catalyst, and a catalyst for probably my normie friends coming over and say, hey, Greeny, what about this Bitcoin, or what about Solana? I've heard about it. And I'll be like, mate, I was telling you to buy Solana when it was $20 US, and you're coming to me and it's 100 already. Like, it's things like that. But again, it could still run to 600, 500. So that's still a 5x sort of thing.
Man, if and when it runs those levels, you and me are going to be screaming. It's funny. I sort of just had a flashback to not last bull, but kind of a little bit prior to last bull before actually. And working in the corporate world, I remember a few mates of mine coming to the sales office with their phones talking about which coins they grabbed, and Ethereum was one of the ones they were grabbing at. Like, man, the numbers were scary. It was under 500 a coin. What was it? It might have been under 100.
Yeah.
And then coming in during the two bulls prior, and talking about those gains, and it sort of makes me think, how's it going to be this time? And, when you've got people like that in a sales office talking about what their portfolio looks like, and they were coming in every morning showing each other the phone with their portfolios, I think we're getting back to those levels where you're going to get just normal people going, oh, I put, $100 in this, and coming in to kind of brag or whatever you want to call it, just banter, whatever. But I think we're getting close to that now. I mean, I've definitely been getting more messages from, it's funny, last bull I was in a Facebook group in the early days, which I don't use anymore. But that group, those two Facebook groups I was in for crypto, started piping up about 4 weeks ago. It had been dead, man. No one was talking. And then all of a sudden, 4 weeks ago, everyone's kind of like starting to chat again. So I kind of keep myself in those Facebook groups because it's a good little thermostat or barometer on what more, normal office cultural people are starting to do.
And that's a good thing too, because like particularly if they come from the business world or the economics world or the trading world too, the corporate life, let's call it. And I think because they have that insider knowledge around what's happening in the markets, the stock markets, currencies, all those sorts of things, like they if they start hearing wind of it and of crypto and stuff, then that's a good sign. Okay, we're approaching sort of levels that we might start to really retest all-time highs, and we might start to pump quite aggressively. Just going back to that note that you said before, again, Sol flipped XRP's market cap just yesterday. But I said this months ago, like buying Solana when it was under $20 was the same as buying ETH in 2020 under $200. And ETH went on to do a 20x. I actually think Solana, like we just said, it's actually gone up to a 10x now since this tweet. But I actually think Solana probably does a higher return than a 20x compared to ETH last cycle.
Man, that's going to be, I just can't, you know what, it's funny going through the bear, what feels for so long. It's these sorts of stories and these sorts of things that sort of reminds you, not the reason why you're here, but the fun that can be had here, the how much you can change your life, I guess is actually what I'm trying to say. People can really change their lives. So you said you spoke about aggressively taking profit before. That'd be one of the things I'd suggest, guys, as you go through this run. Make sure that when these things are like seeming that hard, when you get a 10x, make sure you take a bit of money off the table and actually do change your life rather than tell the story about how you could have. The story about how you did is a lot better than how you could have, so make sure you do it.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so let's dive into the charts. Again, this is on the weekly, so I want to do it a bit more aggressively. I want us to look probably at the 4 hour, maybe the daily. Obviously, we'll start. Let's start with BTC. That's the CME chart. So we'll start here with BTC. So as you can see here, BTC actually broke out of this consolidation on the 4 hour just yesterday. So that would have been a mad little trade that you could have taken if you had that. So it's a 3% move. Obviously, if you're using leverage, say 10% leverage, that's a 30% move. So there's starting to be some really nice breakout potentials across the market. Obviously, BTC's gone first here. As you can see shortly with some of our top altcoins, they are starting to look like they might break up or might potentially break down. But obviously, if the market goes up and BTC goes up, then we can definitely probably think that a lot of the other ones are going to break up. Now, ETH is obviously lagging. ETH has lagged like all year, really. And I think that's just because I think there's just probably better narratives like we've spoken about. But that's what I'm looking at for ETH probably. Again, that's quite a nice support level there from again, this is a 4 hour chart, so I might even drop that a little bit further. So yeah, if you look there, like traditionally that's more of a bearish pattern. But obviously, if BTC is moving up and Solana and stuff are moving up, then I would expect ETH to also follow them, maybe just at a slower rate. But that's what I'm looking at the 4 hours. So that could be a nice long there, or it could be a nice short if we do come down here and the market does decide to go down. We'll come back and look at the ETH versus BTC and Sol versus ETH later. But let's look at Solana. So I was drawing this yesterday on a stream as well. But again, we retested that zone there that we broke out of previously. So this was the breakout a couple of weeks ago. Again, it's broken up. It's had a consolidation here for a couple of weeks. So that was start of December over here. And we're starting to move up again. So I will just take a slightly longer mindset on Solana just to see what levels. Yeah, so we're currently, again, this is a good sign. If we push through, look at this consolidation, then there's no surprise that we consolidate at this $70 range.
Mm.
So I would say that we might retest 105 for Solana in the next couple of days. So I'm pretty sure Easy said 106, and that's what I'm seeing on my chart too, about that 105, 106 level for Solana. So that's a probably over a 25% move still to those levels. Yeah, about 30% move. So could be a really good long opportunity there on Solana.
Mm.
Obviously, let's go to AVAX now. If we look here, I remember Easy was saying this morning as well in his chart. Look at that chart. That's on the day. Oh my god. Anyways, I'll zoom
That's
in a little bit.
oh, there's my
Dude,
bag. I'm so yeah. AVAX is my heavy bag. Yes, so AVAX. So
yeah,
it's quite fun to see the two kind of almost like two brothers competing in a sports team. Something. Hey, who's going to rip the highest? It's
yeah,
cool.
100%. And so if you look here, guys, I believe we have room to probably run up to like the low end of this sort of range here. So AVAX would probably has more area for upside probably compared to Solana, just because it has a different sort of setup in terms of the macro. So on the weekly charts and previous support and resistance zones. So I would suspect AVAX runs to about that $60 level in the coming weeks, and then that's a 45% trade. Obviously we just zoom in on the 4 hour as well. This is what I'm looking at. So AVAX obviously hasn't broken out here. So this could be, oh goodness, here I am streaming. This could be a really good trade actually, guys, right here live on the screen. So shout out to anyone in my group and shout out to anybody who's watching. This could be a really nice trade here on AVAX moving up. That's a great bullish consolidation there. So continuation higher is very likely. Probably, yeah, you could be here. But again, we might see it dip down to like here first and then go up again. Or we might see it just break out, retest, bang, hit up towards 60. So I'll be looking to take that as maybe a leverage long in the next couple hours. Immutable X, that's one. I shared this yesterday on my chart, on my Twitter, but
Cool.
I was playing this. Look at that. It's actually outperforming the huge double bottom. So I'm a big double bottom trader. It's great. And like particularly on a huge time frame. So that's how I draw it. So I can see that there's a big double bottom, which is a very bullish indicator of a pump coming. This pump is generally from the peak of about where the breakout was to the bottom of the lowest point of the double bottom. And then I pull that up, and obviously you do it for the breakout range. So we're currently retesting those levels. Obviously, if you want to be less aggressive, you can take it from just the range that it was in for consolidation. And I spoke about this yesterday on Twitter, but it was about an 80% move of this double bottom, and it did play out over a month. But that's a great trade there if you are, again, using even just a small amount of leverage to trade these. And if you, obviously, guys, if you don't have access to MEXC, I do have a sign up link tomorrow in the description down below on YouTube that you can sign up, and that's where I trade my leverage. I have released a video on a tutorial on that as well, so you can check that out if you don't know how to do leverage trades. But Immutable X looks really good here. Again, this is on the daily. I'd say it might retest this 2.7 sort of range, 2.8 range. So we still have room for probably another 20% move here. But goodness gracious, this could absolutely send Craig here. Hey.
Yeah, I'm actually, it's one of the ones with on my short list to obviously go heavy and is Immutable X. I'm really bullish on it. And that chart just looks so juicy, man.
I reckon. So again, this is where you start to maybe draw some fibs. So we're hitting that 1.168. Again, just to reiterate how I do that, I draw it from the local peak, and then I draw it to the bottom of the range that we saw, so the low. So the low is there. And as you can see here, we're reaching that 1.618 level. So I would say that maybe we reach, so that again, this is why fibs work, guys. Oh, goodness, read the wrong thing. So this is why fibs work. But as you can see here, on the fib level here at the 2.41, that does line up with previous resistance / support levels of the previous cycle over here in 2022. So that's where I'd be looking. And then as you can see here, all-time highs around that next fib level at 3.618. So yeah, no, I'm pretty bullish on IMX. I definitely have a bag of that as well, which is great to see. All right, let's move to Trader Joe. You have exposure to Trader Joe, don't you?
Yeah. Trader Joe. It's just one of those coins within the ecosystem of AVAX. I'm pretty bullish on. Obviously, a lot of people using it, or I suspect a lot more will during the bull. It's just one of those coins you sort of pick, like I suppose you with your Solana as well. You pick coins within the ecosystem which could do a bigger X than the actual chain that they're residing on. So that's one of my bets for AVAX.
Yeah, 100%. And the same conviction as what you've just said. That's why I own a little bit of it. I'm obviously more probably heavy into, I own more Beam, and we'll look at Beam very shortly than Trader Joe. But like you said, Joe is the premier DEX on AVAX, so you want to have exposure to something like that. Again, we have been rejected from this support / resistance level here, but this is still continuation high in my opinion in the coming weeks if the market does pump. Alternatively, like we're playing out this double bottom on quite a large scale, but Alternatively, this could be actually a cup and handle. So if we go like this, come down here, and then that can actually also be a bullish signal there. So again, I'm still very bullish here on Joe. So we'll be keeping an eye on that on the daily, guys. Let's move to Beam. Craig, you have Beam exposure. I know we were talking about this just the other night.
I don't. That's why I was sort of picking your brain about it. But the more I was looking into it a bit more heavily yesterday.
Yeah.
And the longer I looked at it, the more I thought, yeah, this is looking pretty sexy, man. This coin.
Yeah, so we've changed structure here. We went lower low there, but we're back to a higher low. So it looks like we are starting to reverse here. Obviously, I think I think I spoke about this in my gaming video just yesterday. We're down 25% from its all-time high / its recent pump. I think it's actually I think I specified in that video yesterday that things such as Beam and a few other gaming tokens were actually down around that 30%, 25% level. So that is a great time to DCA into plays like this, because you have exposure there, and you don't a lot of people buy probably up here because it's gone up it's gone up that's a 3 to 4x there. So a lot of people go, oh, it's just going to keep going up. But no, you want to wait for those pullbacks, because you do get those healthy retracements, and that's where you want to DCA into the markets for sure. So I think it's not a bad area to probably accumulate a little bit of Beam. Again, we're looking like we might consolidate here for a little bit longer. And then, so if I draw it kind of like that, is probably what I'm looking at. But a breakout probably likely in the next couple of days, I'd say, as well on Beam.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Shrapnel is, again, another one on AVAX that is super bullish. It's a game, first-person shooter game. I spoke about it too in the video yesterday, but we're just ranging here, guys. And that's what you want to see. This is when you want to be buying stuff, okay? You don't want to be buying it when it's just punked. People buying an AB into bonk at 2 billion. Dude, don't do that. Find better plays, find the ones that probably have maybe run a little bit but not outperformed like the rest of the market. So again, Shrapnel, it's pumped up quite a lot since it started, so it went up by 5 to 6x. So it's not bad that these sort of levels. Again, Vulcan Forge, very much consolidating. Again, this is one that I have heavy exposure to. Craig, do you have exposure to this?
Yeah, I've still got a little bag from the prior bull, to be honest, that I didn't actually take my exit, and I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to hang on to it. So yeah, I've got a bag. I should actually go see how much it is, what it is these days. But I was bullish on it last run. I'm bullish on it this run. That setup's looking all right.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and if you go onto their platform, they have tens of thousands of users using their games, playing their games, and that sort of thing every single day. So it's definitely one I've got my eye on. And in terms of market cap too, it has a heavy upside compared to the equivalent on other blockchain gaming tokens. So definitely look into Vulcan Forge. But yeah, it consolidated for so long. Obviously, it was fresh last cycle, so we will have some resistance above. In certain ways. But again, we've consolidated here. This is the daily. Let's go on the 4 hours. If I pull that up, there we go. So again, we're starting to obviously you could play this a couple of ways now. I was, in my last live stream, I was kind of talking about 2 different ways you can trade. You can obviously trade certain patterns. Eric Crown Crypto, who's on YouTube, is a guy that I've followed for probably about 5 years now. He's excellent, but he uses statistics to trade. So he uses moving averages and volatility indicators and stuff. So whatever works for you, and that's what you got to try and find out in crypto. But a couple of ways you could trade this. You could trade this as support and resistance here, and you could probably say that on the lower time frames, this is a zone here. So if it does tap down to levels here, you could long it back up here for a 30% move. Same way if obviously we had a deviation up the top here, so we went up and we didn't hold it. So then this first retest back up here, you could short that all the way down and make also probably a 30 to 40% move. So that's one way I like to trade, support and resistance zones. Alternatively, if I redraw it, you could obviously say that it could be breaking out of this pattern in the coming, it could move down all the way to the end of December if we have a look at that chart. But it looks like it could break high if the rest of the crypto market is breaking high. So that's the other way I like to trade, using different setups and triangle patterns and that sort of thing. So price does reflect different levels of support and resistance, whether that's diagonally or whether it is horizontally as well.
Mm-hmm.
So Vulcan Forge looking very nice. Again, some other tokens. Casper's been lagging a little bit. It pumped up a lot. It's consolidated, so we're looking there. Pepe also, it broke out, but I actually want to show you this, Craig, because I was looking at this yesterday. Mm-hmm. It looks like this could, if we zoom out, this is on the daily. That looks like a very nice sort of long trade there for I'm talking low leverage, like under 5% and 5x, and just holding that for an absolute pump. Like if we get a retest here, like if you hold it to where it, like that could be insane as a trade.
Yeah, that's looking really sweet actually. I haven't looked at Pepe for ages.
Yeah, I think I want to have I've got a little bag in my spot bags just to have exposure in case, like I know Doge, I have exposure to Doge, I have exposure to Pepe. They're actually the only two that they're the only two that I have. So, at the moment in terms of meme coins in my long-term bags, I am, I think you want to hedge your bets with Pepe just because it's fresh this cycle, and it ran up incredibly a couple months ago, really, didn't it? It made millionaires and stuff. So definitely one I'm keeping an eye on. And if I have Doge is a little bit probably higher. So same sort of chart. Obviously the retest kind of already happened down here a couple of weeks ago, or at the end of November. But yeah, again, it still has a lot of potential if it runs on those narratives of being integrated onto X. So that's what I'm looking at. Do you have any Superverse?
No, I don't. No, I haven't actually.
So that's another gaming token that Elio Trades has been shouting. But look at that chart. Like, there's no wonder we're currently consolidating at this rate.
Yeah, that's wow.
That is ripped, yeah. So we'll just start with we'll just finish with some other charts, guys. And now these charts are the ones that I look at to compare whether you want to be holding BTC or Sol, for example. I'm actually going to release a video on this very shortly about why I hold more Solana than Bitcoin. And a lot of evidence is currently in this chart. So again, like I'm very bullish on Bitcoin and what it does for this space. Don't get me wrong. It does so many good things. It's innovative, and if you actually look on chain, the NFTs on Bitcoin are running hot right now. We might speak about that maybe on another stream, maybe next week or something, because that's an area that I haven't spent much time, but I'd love to dive into the ordinal side. And the Bitcoin frogs are up at 0.4. Like, it's pretty crazy returns. But this is why I hold more Solana than Bitcoin at the moment. Like, it's outperformed by a 2.4x. Currently, and it's like if this starts to look bearish, that's when I might go, okay, I'm going to sell a bit of Solana and maybe either hedge it into Bitcoin or just put it back into cash, because that's what you need to look at. So that's Sol versus BTC, and then lastly, again, you can see here already it's at 11%, but this is Sol versus ETH, and this is why I had more Solana than ETH, okay? Because it's things like this that you want to be looking at to see what is going to outperform against its pair, right? And obviously BTC and ETH are the main sort of two cryptos that everyone goes to, but it's these sort of tokens that you want to be trying to find nice and early, or as they're starting to break out, and you want to be tracking these sort of charts to make sure that you're staying convicted in your bets. So obviously this is Solana. Now, you know what? Let's do it. We haven't done this actually, but let's do AVAX against its BTC.
Yeah, good call.
Again, this is why Craig and I have exposure to these. All right.
Yeah, it's strong.
Look at that. Like, that is outperforming significantly. Okay. Like, again, this is very loosely drawing just now, but that's AVAX. Okay. So in comparison, it looks like it might be starting to retest some previous support and resistance. So this is AVAX versus BTC, guys. Just if you are watching. If I draw it here, yeah, so it looks like it might be looking at previous zones soon as a potential resistance. So BTC might start to outperform again. Who knows? But that's another reason. Like, that's been up only since November. So that's where you want to be having a conviction in the plays that are going to outperform Bitcoin, probably, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, definitely. And also, you know, if you're looking at that, even, you know, if you got in earlier, you're pretty safe, aren't you? Like, even if it rejects there, comes back down to the prior low, if you got in early enough, like, that's like me. I don't mind it ranging, coming back down. I got in early enough that I'm not going to stress about it. And I think that's kind of the nice thing with altcoins that I've missed so much versus meme coins. Like I said, provided your entry is good in alts, you can sleep at night fairly comfortably knowing there's months and months of probably upside mostly ahead of us. So looking at that, I'm feeling pretty comfy, even if
and this 100%. And again, this is AVAX compared to ETH, and as you can see here, AVAX is just outperforming by far. Again, 6th of November to today, so that's about a month and a half. It's gone up 3x. So guys, I can't really say too much more. I'm a chart guy. You've seen that on my timeline. You've seen Craig support that sort of stuff as well. So that's where the crux is. That's how I find my trades. That's how I find my conviction. It's things like that. It's also sentiment. It's also tracking DEX volume. It's also tracking NFT volume. and meme coin volume. And I'll show you that right now. Like, let's transition into meme coins. But if you have a look here, guys, this is trending on Dex Screener. So obviously this is where I use my meme coin charts and find those meme coins nice and early. But have a look. Like, we've got the top 10 here. Look at this. We'll talk on Injective. Actually, it's great. Just look at that, an Injective token in the top 10 for volume. So this is tracking volume and interest, which is crazy. So that's good to see. But if you look here, guys, the ones that are trending are all on Solana, then ETH, Solana, ETH, and then Injective. So that's great to see. I will track it by volume. Obviously, ETH still has some of the premier, like it has this one that's outperformed, obviously, the past couple of hours. So it's gone up 2,000%. But if you do start to look down, that's base right there. So it's good to see. There's just more money in going across different blockchains now, which is bullish for me.
Yeah.
Because it means there's money in the ecosystem across different ways. But again, what can you see here? There's a lot of Solana. There's a few Binance Smart Chain ones. I got to actually ask in one of my YouTube video comments to do a Binance Smart Chain one. I was trading that last cycle, Craig. Were you doing that last cycle?
Yeah, me as well. It's actually funny to see those pop up. I'd almost forgotten about it. It's been so long since I've even considered it.
There's two things about that. Firstly, Binance FUD, it's kind of not good for me. I don't want to be trading something like that. That's the first reason. Second reason, Binance won't outperform Solana and AVAX and Injective. So that's why if you want to trade on the blockchains that are trending upwards, because then that way you're stacking your bags of more Solana. So I trade meme coins. I'm same for you, Craig, with AVAX and stuff as well, and ETH as well. But you trade on those blockchains because if you make a good enough, like say you make 5x on a particular meme coin, that's then 5x more in your ETH bags that you would have not previously had, right? And that's the mindset. I'm stacking Solana, I'm stacking AVAX, I'm stacking ETH. Maybe even I might look into a bit of Bitcoin. A few boys, Sexy, shout out to you, bro. In my private group have been really starting to get my mindset around maybe picking up some Bitcoin, actually, selling a bit of my ETH and buying some Bitcoin. But essentially what I'm trying to say is that you trade meme coins, you trade NFTs to stack the underlying token. Yeah. Like, it's the token that you want to have. It's not very often that over like a 6 month or even a year period that an NFT or a meme coin outperforms the underlying token. Would you agree?
Yeah, totally. And what you just explained there to people listening is kind of the game in my mind at the moment, especially. Like, every flip you can do, if I can double or even triple, and it sounds modest at the moment, but if I can double my AVAX bag on meme coins, by the time we go into the bull, that double in AVAX coins or Solana or whatever you're trading in could actually end up being massive trades later when you then flip the native coin or chain it's on. Massive gains.
Yeah, 100%. And that's it. Like, I want to get as much Solana as possible. Like, my bags are very nice. Yeah, thanks, Sexy. Yeah, you love it, bro. I love that you're here in the chat, bro. Thanks for being here, bro. But fair point. Hey, and like, that's what you want to do. And I think that's what a lot of people get wrong. I think when they trade NFTs and trade meme coins, they probably don't realize that I'm trying to, and you are, like us who have been around this space for quite a long time, what we're trying to do is accumulate as much Solana, as much AVAX, as much ETH as possible before it starts to go on an absolute tear into 2024. And that's the underlying secret of making huge returns.
And the thing to think about as well is sort of the compounding effect. So say you do a 2x on AVAX, and then a meme coin to AVAX, you do a 2x, and then AVAX at all-time high again does a 4x, that's an 8x. And that's just going to the prior all-time high. I suspect or hope we will break that. But I mean, that's still an 8x if you do a 2x into a 4x. So you can start, like you just said, you can start tuning, $1 into $8, and that's where things start getting pretty crazy.
Yeah, 100%, and that's great to see. Like, and don't get me wrong, I'm not out here trying to FUD like things like BSC, like, and like as you can see here, there's still like there's 6 million between those two tokens just there. Obviously, I don't know much about them, but like, and even ETH, like, there's still like this token's up 40 million. Like, look at that chart, that's insane. All right, that's a ETH meme coin. It could be a meme coin, it might be something else. Bitcoin cats, I assume that's a meme coin. But like, if you got into this yesterday, like, this is on an hourly chart, so let's just pull it in a little bit. Looks like it might be consolidating a little bit here. Sorry, there we go. So again, if you get into something really early, you can make insane returns. So if we go to 5 minute, oh goodness, where am I? Auto. All right. So I just wanted to show you, like, if you're down in here, and this is before it even takes off, like, even that candle alone, you can stack, like, that's an 8x in that candle alone, because this would have been probably around that 100K sort of range, and that's probably a mil right there. So like, it's just crazy. Like, ETH money is still probably bigger than Solana money, in my opinion.
Yeah, agreed.
So that's where you could probably, I haven't, like, some, like, WIF, we'll talk about WIF shortly actually on Solana, but outside probably Bonk and WIF, there's a couple tokens that have run to about 10 mil on Solana that if you got in early would have had a big run. But ETH still, in my opinion, probably has those 100x plays.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, very much so. The sort of what I'm noticing is the you know, the AVAXs of the world, the Solanas, they sort of have or perceive sort of a ceiling to their run, and they'll have quite, especially AVAX is probably the trickier one. Certainly don't get stuck with your bags and AVAX, because you can see massive, you know, 90% pullbacks, and sometimes, and then they just range for ages and you get stuck in them. So AVAX has been a steep learning curve. Solana is probably a little bit more forgiving, but the dumps on Solana are just, and they're quick, aren't they, compared to ETH?
They are so quick because it's gasless. So people just like, and like, I think that's the other thing. People with ETH, they probably hold their bags longer than Solana because it's so easy. Because it's cheap. Yeah, because it's cheap. You just go, yeah, nah, shit, I want to get out of that. I'm happy with my 4x. I'm happy with my 10x, whatever it is on Solana. Particularly, like, there's one guy, shout out to Shred in my private group too. That guy he put in like a small amount of Solana into 5 different tokens yesterday as soon as they dropped. 4 of them rugged, and then 1 of them didn't. He got in at $700. It ran to 100K.
Wow.
So like, that's like, I don't even know how to do the math on that. That's like a 200x if you're doing it. But like, again, he got rugged 4 times, but then he also got a 200x on a particular play.
Kind of the way it is. That'd be the sort of numbers I'm kind of feeling as well. It's 1 or 2 out of 5 you're absolutely rip and kick ass, but the other 3 you're probably coming away with minus 95%.
Yeah. So if we have a look here, this is obviously the top performing one on AVAX. It's COQ, so cock in other words, you could call it. But that, again, like you said, it ranged here for, I don't even know. I remember this is where I was charting it. Like, it ranged for 6 days. So like, again, you don't, like, 6 days is a long time in the meme coin world, because that is like, you could make, I don't know, the last few days in my group, we've probably got like a 15x yesterday and maybe a 10 to 12x the day before. So like, that's a 25x you missed out on if you've got your bag stuck in something like this.
Yeah.
But in saying that, if you did have your bag stuck in this, you then got to pump up 10x. So it's the trade-off, hey? And I think
being patient for sure. Yeah, that one.
100%. And I actually, like, this is a really good story because I actually was, like, we were trading here. I shared, this is WIF now on Solana, which is the top performing one at the moment on Solana. It's up to 180 mil. But I shared it in the group at 17 mil as like a nice breakout trade. And that's gone up. I don't know what the returns there on that are. That's about a 9x there, yeah. But I actually went back and looked at my Twitter, and I was trading this thing at 200K, like right down here when it broke out. And then I looked at a tweet. It was like the end of November. And I swing traded this WIF coin from 200 to 400K for a 2x. And then a month later, it pumped to 250 mil or something. I don't know, or 200 mil, I think it hit. Let's have a look. 210, I think it was. Yeah, like, look at that. Like, and so, like, I did the math. I would have had, look at this. Like, okay, this is just, again, this is where I was. I was trading down here at 200K. This is where we're at. At 180 mil, it hit 200 mil yesterday. Like, I did the math. That's 1,000x if I just held a moon bag, or maybe just held something.
If you held it, actually got to call that.
Bro, insane. Like, that far exceeds the money I made on Joe and LMI and stuff. But yeah, 1,000x, man. And I think there's a few guys in my group. Shout out to Harvey. He's like, yeah, man, I leave about 10% in every trade and treat that as like a tax, just in case it could do something like this where it runs up 1,000.
He had a moon bag of that, did he?
No, he didn't, but that's his philosophy. So he always goes, hey, if I am in a token or I am looking to do a trade, I do like to have a little bit of money left in it, just in case it rips on an absolute.
I tend to go by the same philosophy. I'm the same. I've got wallets with just dust bags, and they're waiting for the bull run. Hopefully, some of them just revive. And like you said, even if it's 1 out of 100. And that goes to do another 10x, it repairs a bit of past damage, right? So, yeah,
100%.
I tend to do that.
And I think if you've taken profit as well, you got your initials out. Obviously, that's one thing I always say. Obviously, this is not financial advice, guys, but like I always get straight away 2x or around that 2 to 3x. Get your initials out. If not, take a bit of profit, and then obviously step it out as you continue to run up. And then obviously maybe we're talking about leaving that 10% in case it runs really, really hot.
Well, there was that coin the other day that you would have seen on my timeline. What's it called? Micro Cox.
Is it on ETH?
On AVAX. And I got into it at about...
Here we go.
Yeah, so it basically burns Cox. So it's called Micro. Wow.
Yeah.
Retracement. Lucky I sold the absolute tippy top of that. Oh, yeah. But anyway, I got in early, like where that little blip is. And then a massive retracement. I was, this is a funny, like I was minus 90%. And then I ended up being, I think it did a 30x.
Oh, yeah.
So I had a guy message me in my DMs. He's like, "Hey, brother, get in this." And I was like, "Oh, yeah." I looked at it and I was like, you know what? Well, Cox sort of running so hard. I'll go for the sort of the little piggyback leech play. And it dumped 90%. And I messaged him and I was like, "Hey, bro, did you see that coin?" He's like, nah, I ended up cheating that bag. And I was thinking, you mother effer, you friggin', you've messaged me in my DMs and then you've exited on me. Clip, well played. And then, and then I've woken up the next day and I've checked it and it's absolutely ripping. So obviously I made sure to jump in his DMs and said, "Hey, brother, how's those bags going?" But no, it ended up doing a 30x. It made me look really smart, but to be honest, I had no idea I was going to do that. I got to claim it, but Jesus, it's one of those you just wake up and thank the market for making you look smart. But that kind of backs up that what you spoke about before was one of those plays. I think it had retraced when I looked at it 70%, and I thought, you know what, gas on AVAX had kind of been, which is kind of a bit annoying to see, really. But anyway, long story short, I left my AVAX bags in there and woke up the next day and it was 30x. And I thought, shit, that was nice. So what we spoke about before, got to step away with, 20. It was more like about a 20x for me. Got it, 20% on my AVAX bag. It was a small bag. I didn't go big. But shit, you walk away the next day with 20 times the AVAX I had. So that just went straight into Joe and I'll just sit on AVAX now.
Yeah, definitely. So that's pretty much like all meme coin chat that I wanted to talk about. I think we might let's slide towards NFT side. Obviously we spoke about last week that you do still have some bags left in ETH NFTs from last cycle. I was just curious if you have been playing anything recently on the ETH NFT side. We'll talk about Solana in a minute. I have. Yeah, you haven't? No. So I swung trade little pudgies a few times because the narrative there was for like pudgy ecosystem, that sort of thing as well. I think the one you would want to have this cycle is probably a pudgy if you can afford it, if it doesn't take too much up of your portfolio. So that's probably the one you definitely want to have exposure to. But the other one, I actually shared this in my group last night. But with Grapecoin dropping today, actually, I believe it is. Shout out to a few boys, Shakestar, I believe, and I can't remember the other fellow who suggested it, but they started to see that the volume is picking up for blockchain, block games dice, and I don't know if you've ever checked out their website, Craig, but it's similar. It's again on that gaming narrative play, and I suggested this in my video too, but they have like a range of different games on their platform. They've got a huge range of community on there. They have heaps of rewards and systems and stuff, and there's rumors to be that they're going to drop a token too. Now, Grapecoin went from, I saw it at about 0.5 ETH, and then I think it was Loopify or someone, some huge influencer in Web3 went and swept like 10 or 20 of them or something. Next thing I know, within a couple of weeks' time, it was at 3 ETH, and I was like, oh, like Greeny, that was probably just the easiest trade to take because it was on the gaming. They've got their token coming up. You should have just bought one or two grades at 0.5, right? Anyways, so I think, and like we swing traded in the group, block games dice from about 0.38 to 0.7. So that was a nice little 2x, probably about a month ago. But they've consolidated here for a while, and they formed this little double bottom. Now, blow charts aren't the best. Oh, I don't have it up. Here we go. But blow charts aren't the best, but you can see here that we had a little low here at 0.4. We had another little low at 0.4. We had another little low at 0.4. So if anything, that's a triple bottom. And then I started to see that people are picking them up in that anticipation that they run the same as Grapecoin, okay, and particularly because Grapecoin it's hyped to be probably 500 mil, if not more, in terms of its market cap. So again, that you want to go in the direction. You don't want to chase Grapecoin, but you want to chase something that might be following the same sort of path as Grapecoin. And I think this could be a nice little play. So I copped three. I copped one at 0.45 and copped two at 0.5 last night. So I do think these could be like a nice swing trade to maybe that one each range. I think they topped out previously around that 0.8, 0.9 level from memory. I know that one of the boys in Divine actually called these as well around the same levels that I got into as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, again, like I'm just talking about some plays and how I like to go about it, sort of thing. So
yeah, so it looks like there might be a few NFT plays starting to pop off again, huh? We had that.
Yeah,
we had that mint the other day, didn't we? That on each that one. Well, I can't remember what it was even called. I've taken my eyes off the ball, but.
Oh, Overworld, is that what you're talking about? Overworld? Yeah. So Overworld, it's again, it's that if we look at the 1 day volume, still hit. Yeah, 2.6.
Wow. And what did
like, look at that
mint at Greeny? What was the mint?
Ooh, not sure. I can't remember what the mint price was. Yeah, anyone in the chat, if you can let me know what the mint price was for Overworld. I think I'd say it's around that 1 or 1.5, maybe. It actually may have gone down after post mint. I can't remember. I'll see if anyone does comment. At this stage, no one has. But yeah, it consolidated here. You can see it had a double or a triple bottom here, went to 1.15, 1.2, 1.2, and then it just ripped because, again, it's on that gaming narrative play. So it's good to see. Good to see just collections getting some traction. So again, like as you can see here, like there's not a lot of change. Like we're seeing a few different notable collections in the green, but I don't know. I still think there's better plays to be had, and that might be a nice little transition into obviously Solana NFTs, Badogos. So Gordon, Yuga creator, bought a Badogo the other day. They ran to about 16, 17 Sol, so that would have been a nice, like a 2 to 3x return on Badogos. Again, Solana Punks minted. One of the guys in my group saw him at 0.3. I don't know if he traded it, but that would have been a 10x if he got into 0.3 because they're at a 3 floor now. Tensorians, I shared that in my group at around that 105 level, 110 level. I think being an airdrop on Tensor soon, I think they're one of the top collections outside Mad Labs on what do you call it, Solana, because they just have that recognition, right? And so they have low listings, high owners, that sort of thing. So it's plays like that you want to have probably and hold for a couple of months. It's quite a large entry, obviously, but there's obviously different plays. Like we saw the SPL token, like these inscriptions run to 90 Sol. They were at 9 Sol, and within a day they went to 90. SMB, we saw these at about 80, probably maybe 3-4 weeks ago. They're now at 170. Mad Lads have consolidated, which I think they needed to do. They pumped insanely. They went up like 150 Sol in like a couple of weeks, so they needed to just consolidate. But there's so much money to probably be made more on Solana. Again, we haven't even spoken about probably the gaming side of Solana NFTs, and also just other sort of narratives that are being played on there. The Gamblify, so Rollbit and other Sol Casino and stuff, like they've all been running really hot. Again, Clanos have been quite slow, but again, I still hold my Clano. I think it's probably a good longer term play. Badogos at 11. I think anything under 11 for Badogos is probably a good medium to longer term play again. They currently actually have, I wonder if I have it. Actually, so with Gordon buying some Badogo or a Badogo, there's this raffle currently going on. Going on in the Nifty. So if you can stake your dogs and earn bones, and bones is sort of like it's not like a token or anything, but it's like it's embedded into the ecosystem of the Badogos, and essentially you can you can buy entries into this Bayek, right? And so I was like, all right, stuff it. I've got enough bones, so I bought 500 tickets, 10 bones each. So that's not even, I did the math, that's not even 1% entry. And I know there's some huge whales in the Badogo community. So I was like, stuff it, you know what, have a go at this, and we'll just see how it goes. So there's a raffle for that once it hits 100K. I think they're doing it on the Friday morning show. So it'd be kind of dope if I did win that. We'll see.
Shit, that'd be cool.
Dude, yeah. And so I think the floor on this, it's kind of hard. Like, do you sell this for liquidity? I think being the trader that I am, I probably would. I'd probably sell it and then look
floor and I just whip it.
I would, mate. I'd take it straight to Blur and straight into the Blur bids and say, thank you very much, Nifty Portal. That would probably be my play. So Sexy, was it 0.15 ETH for Overworld? Holy, that's an insane return. Is that right, Sexy? Holy. So yeah, no. Yeah, so that's my probably play. If I do win this, fingers crossed, fingers crossed. I might even pick up some more. I've still got plenty of bones to burn. I could pick up maybe another 200 or so. I'm not sure. I'll think about it. But they do different things, and that's the beauty of the Nifty. Like, this is probably a side that a lot of people don't actually see. They run a few different. Yeah, wow, 0.15 for Overworld. Sorry, going back to that comment. That's insane. Like, that's up to 2.6 ETH. That's crazy. Man. So yeah. Gaming's just where you want to be really at the moment. But this is what I'm saying. Like, I think the Nifty side, like, a lot of people just maybe see their media side of things. They see the morning show, but it's things like this. They have an intricate system here where you stake your bones, you get different rewards. They're bringing out lots of new innovation. They're bringing out some physical goods. They're bringing out so many different things like in the coming months. So that, as well as one of the top Web3 media companies, like, again, you want to have exposure to the right things, and that's why Bodoggos are pumped. Like, they were at 1 to 4 SOL for a good couple months, and now they're at 15 to 10. So that's sort of what I'm looking at there. But again, there's just really good plays on Solana that I think so many people can be doing, because, again, like we spoke about earlier, it's easier to get into. It doesn't cost as much because you don't have gas and that sort of thing. So, yeah, that's where I'm placing my bets at the moment. Do you have any Solana NFTs, Craig?
I don't, and I want to. I'm thinking Bodoggos might be the play for me. Just the entry's nice. Obviously, the other day when I woke up and saw Gordon bought one, I thought of you straight away, because I was thinking, oh man, your bag's about to friggin' pump. Woke up, seen it live 1 minute. I think he sent it in. I was like, these are going to fly. Didn't even have time to go and cop one, because I was straight away in my head, I'm thinking, man, if I'm quick enough, but I'm not. I didn't have the soul in the wallet ready to go. And I was like, oh, by the time, and they just went. Like, it's funny in Web3, right? As soon as that came out, within a minute, it's just like straight up. And I was like, I'm going to get wrecked on this. So I actually was waiting for it to settle back down, which looks like it's going to pull back to what, about the 10, 11 or 12. So
yeah, a couple of things on there. Like, while you're interested, a couple of things. So I use Sniper. A lot of people use Tensor. I use Sniper. Sniper's also maybe going to have a token airdrop or some form of airdrop soon. So you can accumulate rewards, and you can accumulate coins, over on the side. So definitely look into that as a potential airdrop, as well as the Tensor one. But they have a partnership with the Nifty as of like a few days ago that they have 0% fees on Sniper. So you can also stake your Bodoggo and earn bones every single day. That's how it works. If you have a portal, it auto claims for you as well. So look into getting a portal. But 0% fees. So you can buy Bodoggos, trade them up and down at a 0% fee rate. So definitely, if you're looking to get in, definitely look on Sniper because it's the one to look at. Now, again, shout out to Sexy who has shared this several times. But usually Bodoggos pump, and then they what am I trying to say? They go down about a 30% retracement from a little pump. So again, if we look at this pump, the first pump to about 6, they went down about a 35 retracement. Okay, the next pump they pumped up to about that 7.5. They went down 30%. They pumped up to 10.3. They went down 37%. So they pumped up to, what was it, about 17. They're currently down 33%. So again, that's bullish structure because it's higher lows, but it's probably a good DCA level for some dogs. And you just got to be patient, I think. So
and I just think with the whole Solana ecosystem being so bullish this run, I think we're going to see Solana through everything. The news, obviously, with their phones, they're going to be, they're going to get massive exposure through that. Different coins coming online, whether it's meme coins or whatever. As soon as you start dropping people free money, that's free marketing. So I think Solana is just going to get so many people going, oh my God, I'm rich because of you guys. And money's going to pour in. And, looking at how ETH NFTs ran last time, not necessarily saying that will have the same sort of run, but likely. I just think Solana NFTs have a lot of upside. They don't have a lot of the baggage that ETH NFTs have. I feel ETH NFTs have a lot of weight and bad memories for a lot of people. So I'm not saying ETH ones won't run, but if you want easier, I feel easier gains, Solana might be the cruisier play. Upside's big, and then you're dealing in the Solana chain. So I like just being in that space, and obviously I suppose the connections you make within the ecosystem, yours will be massive now. So it's advantageous just to have Solana NFTs just from that point of view as well.
Yeah, and that it's so true. Like, it's the community side of Solana that is actually very bullish as well. Like, it's a huge community, and shout out to the people. Yeah, shout out to the people that were there during the FUD. Like, that was pre my days. I think I started really getting heavily into. Well, it was probably post Bodogo Mint. So I'm going to say, what was that, 6 months ago now? That's when I started looking into Solana and started getting exposure there and looking into the communities and stuff. But I didn't ape into other NFTs probably until maybe a month or two ago. And that's when I really was like, holy shit, like, there is so much potential here in terms of just community-based stuff. So that's great. And again, I'll draw this to everyone here on the screen, but like, look, like, Solana is outperforming in NFT volume. And this is a repetitive thing now. Like, this is daily. Now, if you look over here, it's tokens on and NFTs over on Bitcoin that are also outperforming. So I need to do my research into Bitcoin actually. I think it's
numbers, and they're telling a story. I mean, I don't know how the timing is. You know, you see these and you think, shit, I'm not in position, which I don't like.
Yeah,
but probably still learning. One of the boys actually has been pushing me for about I want to say a month to look at these. And I knew they must have gone up heavily because he messaged me yesterday to say, hey, did you have a look? And I was like, no, they must have pumped for so long. But you know what it's like in this space. You just can't be over everything.
And that's it. You wanna have your specialities. Like, I think, and that's like, people reach out to me, they go, hey Greeny, what about this? Or hey Greeny, what about this? And I go, thanks for the opportunity. I'm sure it is like, could reap several rewards, but you want to stick in your lane. And I think for me and you, that's just time and experience in this space. I think too many people chase too many opportunities and they spread themselves thin. And they have bags like here, and here. And they're like, oh shit, what about over here? Oh, now I forgot about this over here. I think you want to stay where you have conviction, where you maybe have the experience and the niche, and then that's maybe where you want to be placing your bets, sort of thing. So, if we come over to Magic Eden and we have a look at some of these things, Bitmap, shout out to Einstein, who I did my spaces with last time. We're going to do, it's called the DGen show actually, and we're doing that probably weekly, if not maybe a couple times a week now, on in the evenings in Australia, so that we get the wake up in the US time. But essentially, he's talking about Bitmap over here, which is a really cool potential metaverse play on Bitcoin. And then obviously you can see here that we're starting to see that you have this rare sats sort of stuff. Again, I'm not really into that sort of stuff. If you're a collector, maybe, and I think it's just better to always buy something of a floor. And then that way you probably have the easiest liquidity to get in and out of something. So again, Bitcoin Frogs is probably the premier collection that you want to have exposure to as a PFP. Shout out to Supreme in my private Discord, because he has a Bitcoin Frog as well. So again, if I try and pull up the charts, if it's going to let me, floor price, no, that only shows the last day or two. I don't know how. Oh no, yeah, I can zoom. Let's have a look. All right, so let's have a look at this chart. So again, this is on Bitcoin, right? So what sort of mine? Yeah, so if we look back here, October, it's gone up like instrumentally. So that was 0.02 at the end of October. So it's gone up, what's that, like about a 15x from here in the space of a month. So it looks like we're consolidating here. It looks like we got higher lows and then lower highs, which is a consolidation, and maybe we break out higher. So this is where you want to be maybe placing your bet. Now, 0.4 doesn't sound like a lot, but 0.4 Bitcoin is a lot.
Yeah, I was going to say that's just...
What is that? Let's do the math. Like, Bitcoin's what, 42k. So times that by 0.4. That's 16.8k USD. Yeah. So Australian, that's like 25 grand.
That's sort of for me. That's when I've really got to research an ecosystem and know it inside out. Otherwise, that's almost like, it's like sailing. It's a rich man's sport. Hey, I'm like, oh man, I can't even play in those sort of games.
100%. And like, that's where I had my conviction with my Mad Lad. Now, at the time of my purchase of my Mad Lad, it was probably 25% of my whole portfolio at the time. And that was, okay, I'm putting this into a potential play here that could run to 50 to 100K potentially if I play my cards right. And sure enough, it did. It's about a 2.5x in terms of USD/Australian value. But I think with true conviction and true just thinking about what's going to happen, Bitcoin money is also just so different. Like the whales in Bitcoin,
Yeah.
if they're gonna come in and they're gonna go, okay, I love Bitcoin, but you know what? What about what's the one thing I want to buy as maybe a PFP or as exposure on the actual blockchain? It's probably something like this, or like we spoke about before, one of these other plays in the top collections over the time here. So again, let's just zoom out. It's always good to zoom out. So yeah, this tells you right now. So last 30 days, look what's on top. It's the Bitcoin frog. So I don't know. Like I probably won't. Like that's a lot of money. Like particularly Australian dollar. That's like 25 grand. That's probably too much money for me to ape into. Particularly being on Bitcoin. Like you just don't know when you could sell it. But I still think these could probably run quite aggressively. I don't know how many listings we got. Yeah, 630 listings out of 10K. So that's super bullish. Does it? Yeah, 4.5K only. So that's 45%. So yeah, like again, those are the sort of analytics that I look at for NFT plays, whether it's on Solana, ETH, Injective, whatever it is. So it looks like I actually think these could be a seriously good play still. And you watch this space, I reckon we'll come back on a future live stream, and these will probably be one Bitcoin. Yeah, I reckon they will.
Imagine that.
So
what the hell?
I think, mate, I think it's going to happen. So, but yeah, if we go back to this tab, it's no surprise, right? Like Bitcoin's known to have insane sales, obviously with the different Sats and the different tokens and the BRC20s, etc., the ordinals, Bitcoin frogs, etc., etc. But if you look over on the left, but then you also look over on the right, Solana's the next one in line, right? So that's where you want to be parking your bets again in the NFT space, and the volume. So that's what I'm looking at there. Let's curveball a little bit. And as you saw earlier, we're starting to see a bit of interest in Injective. So this is a marketplace for Injective. This is where you can buy Injective NFTs. We have started to see some of the meme coins run. We're starting to see some of these NFTs run. Okay, obviously, as you can see, the Pepe meme is on every blockchain, across every meme coin, across every NFT. So classic. But it's just pretty cool to see that there's a bit of interest over here. So you can see this collection. They also have tokens on here as well. But if we have a look really quickly, NFTs sold in the last day. So only 1,700. So you're still quite early. But you could see. So the ninjas, they had I believe there was a token for them as well. But again, 5K collection, 1,600. So that's pretty high. Floor price is 38. I haven't used this platform just yet too much, but if you have a look, very similar to OpenSea, really. But look at that. Like you could have made, look at that. That was one Injective. What's that? 6 days ago, and it's at 40 Injective. So Injective, let's pull up the chart on Injective. I need to add this to my list of tokens to watch. So if we look at, oh my Lord,
Ripped.
So so just for like crazy returns of crypto, guys, for everyone here watching this video, if you like, what did I say? It was this is on the week though, but like, okay, so let's zoom in a little bit. But if you cop that on the 16th of December at one Injective at 29, and this goes back to what we were speaking about earlier, Craig, about how you want to be on the token, on the blockchain, that is also trending up. Okay. So if you cop that, Injective since that point in time on the 16th has also gone up about 50%, right? So 50% also on top of that 40x if you copped one of these ninjas, okay? So ninjas like 4 or 5 days ago means that you have just made like an 80x really quickly in the space of a few days. So I think look at that, like, and it looks like there might be a little bit of a wall at 50 Injective. So I don't know, man. Like it's just good to see other opportunities in the space. I don't know. Have you dived into too much here, or
I haven't. A few of the groups I'm in have been heavily trading. Was it Ninja, the meme coin? That's absolutely ripping on it. Yeah. They were in really early. It's kind of, a few Pepe and Mog whales that I know have sort of moved a large amount of money there, and I suspect they've created a bit of demand themselves with the amount of money they're throwing around. But yeah, I didn't. It's sort of like we're talking before. You can't get into everything, and I was kind of doing some other trades at the time, so I hadn't put much time into checking it out. But just the fact these people are there that I know who normally they're usually in the right place at the right time, put it that way. So as soon as I knew they were dabbling there, I was like, yeah, this could go. But I haven't given it much of a look. But like you said, just seeing these things pop off only makes me feel better about the bags where I'm at, because I know everything's going to have its time in the sun. And I just want to be careful not to chase as well. Yeah. So, everyone's on my timeline screaming this now. And if they're on my timeline screaming it to me, I feel like I really should be the one screaming it to them, which means I'm in the right position. I'm out of position on this. So I'll look into it a little bit further and see what this chain holds and what opportunities there are, I suppose, because I might be missing out, but I haven't traded it yet.
No. Yeah, and like, look at this. Like this is a nice little diversion into the meme coins. So you can actually track the meme coins on Injective, also on Dex Screener. Again, my favorite platform in Web3 at the moment, because as you can see here, it has all of the blockchains that you want. Like it has Moonriver, which is a last cycle.
Yeah, I remember
layer 1, layer 2. Oh my god! Like so, guys, Dex Screener, use it every single day. Okay. But as you can see here, this is some tokens on Injective. Again, this was what's that? 5 hours ago. It's already up 2x. It pumped. Look at that, 6x. So, excuse me. There's money to be made now on Injective, and that's where you want to be. You're placing your bets. As I said before, you want to be having exposure to things that are trending up. The underlying blockchain is trending up. Solana AVAX Injective now is trending up, so you want to have exposure there. I spoke about Kira before on another live stream. It looks to be 15 mil, so it's also pumping. It's obviously been ranging, might be breaking out there. So as you can see here, there's plenty of volume on Injective. I wonder what the fee is on Injective. Actually, that's one thing I don't know. Sexy, are you there? If you're in the chat, bro, can you tell me what the fee is like, man, on Injective? Because that's one area I haven't really looked into yet to see whether it's worthwhile. Based on what I've heard, it's not too much. But it's just good to see some tokens, man, run on different blockchains.
Yeah, it sort of gives you hope for everything else, because in the bear you didn't see a lot of this, whereas in the bull it kind of feels like almost everything gets its time in the sun. So you just got to be patient, especially. And I think for me, $5, someone said that.
Yeah, $5 from Laurie. Yeah, cheers, Laurie. If that's then that's it. Like that's
good,
cheap, man.
That's good. Yeah, you know what? It's also good seeing these things pop off, because it reminds me to have a look around. So it's like, oh, okay, I need to check that out, even for next run. You know what I mean? Like, start to learn it, see if there's potential, and if you can get in position, great. And if you can't, just put it in the back of your mind and go, okay, next time we have a bull run, or next time whatever, I'll make sure that I sort of front run people on these plays. But I'm not in position on this at all. But I like. You know what? I just like seeing on my timeline people get wins. It's cool.
Yeah, for sure, man. Well, outside that, I don't really have too much else to cover. Is there any other topics that you wanted to cover at all today, Craig, at all?
I just got to think what bags I want to pump real quick.
Mate, pumping bags. No, I'm all about that.
Not especially. Look, I think the hot topic over the last sort of 2 weeks has been Solana, and congratulations to everyone who's heavy on that, because I think that, and I'm not saying this because I'm underexposed there. I feel like I'm underexposed, but I think that's going to be the topic for a while. I look forward to seeing Bitcoin rip up. That will be nice. But no, not a lot. I think we've covered a shitload. But now Solana, I can't wait for my Saga phone to come so I can really start. I see, just on a side note, one sold just to pump my phone bags. Sold for $4.7
on eBay.
Yeah, almost $5,000. What do you mean?
Is that US as well?
Yeah.
So that's even better for Australians. Like that's a 7x nearly, probably in Australian money. So dude, there's money to be made if you're doing the right things. So
buying a phone and getting a 10x.
I know, dude. Like that's insane. Like it's good to see it. And like I think there's on the Nifty show, one Easy I think said that Fran Relations, one of a top influencer. Yeah, I think he's actually he bought a few, and he's gonna just have one, and he's a very like collector based sort of art guy. And he's gonna have it sealed, and then just see what happens in 5 years. Like it could go to zero, but like it could also just like that could be worth who knows how much, like $100,000. You just don't know.
Well, what was it? The original iPhone. There was someone who had the iPhone. Was it the 3 or whatever? It's still sealed, and that ended up going for massive amounts of money. So if it, not to say we can't quite compare them yet, but who's to say in 5-10 years if Solana's the retail brand, which is looking like it's trying to position itself to me as the retail blockchain, just branding wise and marketing. Yeah, that phone could be the one that, my kid now says to me, oh my God, you had that phone first. Like it's ancient, right? So It's cool, man. And seeing these phones rip, this is proper bull market stuff, man. We're stupid, like buying a phone goes up 10 times, and you're like, what the hell? That's the reason why we're here. So yeah, hopefully I can become, man, I would love to tell the story how I retire off a phone.
Look, I think, I don't know. What's your thinking? What's your play with it? Do you think did you just cop one?
I got two. I'm gonna keep it. I don't think I'll sell it. I'm just gonna keep it for the airdrops, and I'm just gonna pray to God that plays off. But mainly because we're gonna hit a bull, and what might be a $50 airdrop could easily turn into a $500 airdrop per token on run ups. So I mean, imagine copying. I mean, there was another drop the other day. I think it was yesterday for 250 US on it. So you get that a few times. You're starting to look at pretty good money. And then there was that was a Cleanosaurs, however you say the name. They dropped on there.
Yeah.
Or they could mint. So that was about $6,000.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't think I'll sell the phone. I might regret this. We could probably go back to this one.
I know, and I was going to say, if you've copped two, I would probably floor one and then keep the other.
Fighting myself. I am,
because
I can hedge
exactly, and that gives you profit on your two versus,
and pays the mortgage for about 8 weeks. So even if it never does anything, I can still say I've got to win, which is and I guess the lesson to everyone out there in crypto, and that you just anytime you can get a win, you should probably take it. So I should probably take my advice. Possibly, I mean, look, if it's hitting 5, it sort of depends what the price is by the time I get it. So I can't really say what I'm going to do, because by the time I get it, if it's $7,000 US, then Jesus, that's starting to. I feel almost stupid not selling one then.
That's a lot of money. Like, that's a lot of money for a phone.
And
I don't know.
Promise later down the line, airdrop wise, right? So I possibly will have to take the win, and like we said, then I can walk away. And if these phones turn to absolute rubbish, I can go, oh well, I had a few free dinners. So yeah. As long as it's
that's. Yeah, for sure. And you know what? Like, maybe that's the last conversation we can have today. Is actually I'll ask you, and then maybe I can ask or talk about it after. But what's your plan of action to actually maximize your profit taking over the next year or two?
I was talking to my wife yesterday, and I said I will think of this the bull run as a successful bull run if during the bull run I have no more tokens or coins. I want to clear out. I might need moonbags maybe, but I want to be 95% out of everything during the bull run, rather than what I did last time and keep hoping for that Hail Mary, which didn't come. So for me, just aggressive profit taking, man. Like, I mean, I'd rather get out of. In other words, I'm not going to try time tops or bottoms here. I'm going to scale. I've been scaling in, and I will scale out, but I was and try and dodge the euphoria as much as I can. And I know you've probably felt this before. For people that haven't, selling during a big pump is hard. I've had times where coins are absolutely ripping, and my hand's on the mouse button trying to sell, my hand shaking because of the number I'm seeing in my MetaMask, and I'm like, holy. It's like it's the one time in your life where you, as a human, you feel like you're a money printer just for a moment. And by the way, these are very few and far between. So I think the challenge for traders is that not often are you in a position where something's just going parabolic. So for me, what I noticed was I was quite experienced in pullbacks and dealing with the emotions of loss, but I wasn't experienced how to deal with euphoria and selling in those moments. So one of the things I took out of last bull run was that was my weak point, was taking profit. So that's sort of something I've drilled into myself this bear, which is why the bear's been so good for me, because it forced me to, because during the bear market, you couldn't afford to hold anything too long. So I feel like, my skill-wise, definitely better, but aggressively taking profits. I want nothing in my bags. 3/4 hopefully through the bull run, I'm going, have fun, guys. I'm on a holiday.
So then my question is, because I align so much with what you just said, and I'll unpack that too, but my question is, okay, is it price based? Is it time based? Is it sentiment based? How are you gonna are you gonna use a combination of all of them, or what do you
Yeah,
think?
combination of all of them, but predominantly it'll be price based. But the price targets I have obviously are based more on that's TA based.
Yeah,
Sentiment as well, but sentiment more led why I am in those as well. So I sort of trade probably semi-similar to you, obviously TA, but also sentiment as well. So I will pivot if I need to, but I'm kind of, everything the charts are telling me at the moment, like we went through prior, is telling me that my choices or the horses I backed so far have been the correct ones. So yeah, it's price based predominantly. I've got my targets that I want, but I need to. I remember. I think I spoke to you last time, and I did this last bull, and it kind of caught me a bit off guard because I had my price targets. But what I will say is I'm a lot more pessimistic this time. So last
yeah,
time I had my price targets, but they were probably a bit aggressive.
yeah,
Which meant that because they weren't hitting, I was stubborn and I was like, no, I'm right. It's going to do it. It was a silly mindset to have, a bit of ego based.
yeah,
This time I'm going to go in a bit more of a, I'm the student to the market. The market's the teacher, and I
yeah,
remember my position in this, and I'm
yeah,
not the boss here. And yeah, look, even in places like 2x, 3x, I'm going to be scaling out. Like
yeah,
not aggressively at those points, but even 2, 3, 4, 5x especially is where I'll start,
yeah,
and then 10x is man. I'll leave moon bags, but yeah, price based, sentiment based. Unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but just you and me, I suppose, have the luxury of spending all day in here, so I've got to, a bit like you, I can tell the temperature fairly quickly because I'm in it every day.
yeah,
But that's not
yeah,
that's sometimes a lagging indicator as well.
yeah,
Unfortunately, sentiment can kind of come later. When price
yeah,
goes down, then sentiment it turns to shit. So that can sometimes be a bit late. So I think
yeah,
I'm going to avoid sentiment in the bull run a bit, just from the point of view, a lot of it will be euphoric and up only, and that's where people get wrecked. So I think
yeah,
have your play and be willing to move, but don't. I think people are going to be wary of crypto Twitter as well, and don't buy into too
yeah.
much of. There's going to be a lot of bull posting, man, myself included. I'll be bull posting the house down. But,
Yeah, you have to, man. You have to.
but if I'm bull posting and I'm up 10x, don't buy. Like, probably don't get in because I'm going to sell.
Yeah.
Definitely. But yeah, what about you? What are you? What's your
Well,
take on this bull? What are you going to do?
well, shout out to a few of the comments. Sup, Alan. Thanks for being here, bro. But Jet makes a really good point here. He just mentioned that it was 1,060 days from the bottom to the top, and he said. So I actually just pulled out my crypto chart. I'll share the
That is
tab.
a good point.
Um,
That is a good point. I have looked at that.
And so if I look at this is crazy, all right? So if I pick the bottom from 14th of November and I go 1,050 days, if we're looking at that is September 2025. Oh man, I don't know about that. That's in my opinion, that's quite probably I don't know unless it's a super cycle. I wouldn't say. So if we look from at least where the previous halving was last time to the second peak
Mm.
was 539 days. If we go back further and we look at the halving in the 2016 cycle, and in terms we're looking at time base, it was 539 days. So it rhymes. Okay, it obviously doesn't. It doesn't do the same thing. So if we take that into consideration, halving is expected to be around March. If we take about a 530, let's go on the shorter side. Let's go 518. Again, August 2025. So, Jet, thanks for that, bro, to bring it to our attention. In terms of what I think, then, oh man, I don't know. Hey, like, it's really hard to say, and like, there's so many points that you touched on, which is just so true about me and you and our stories and our experience in this space. I think for me at least, like I'll talk a little bit personally about what happened to me last cycle. I made again, it's my pinned post on Twitter. I made a big bag, like I don't know, made 70 grand off like a 10 grand. And it was my first year of work. So it was the first time I was like, yeah, bang into ETH at like $200, bang, 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 bang. Like every week, yeah, $100 in, $100 in. And then, so it ran up to like, yeah, 70K. And then I actually got scammed and I lost, I'm going to say I lost a lot of money. in an NFT scam. And so I then, same as what you did, I tried to chase those bags because NFTs were starting to rip in January 2022. And so I was chasing plays because I hadn't probably done enough research, hadn't had that experience yet. So then I actually lost a lot of money there. And then obviously the tax bill came in because I had made the money, but I then lost it to a scam. I had a big tax bill. So it's so many things that whole like sort of 2-year period taught me about just like life, but also just about how to manage your money, how to deal with maybe euphoria if it was to happen again, right? And so that was the previous cycle. The cycle before that, and again, I look very young, but I've been in crypto for 8 years, right? And I got in, how old am I now? Yeah, when I was about 20 years old, I got into crypto in 2016. And again, I was at uni then, so I had like, let's call it $1,000, and I ran $1,000 up to 10 grand or something like that. And I was like, holy shit, like, there's so much money. Like, what am I doing? I remember buying BTC at like, I don't know, $300 or something. It's just ridiculous, the numbers. And so then I ran that up, and then sure enough, my old man was like, dude, sell. You've made like a 6x on your bags. Like, just sell it, man. I'm like, no, it's gonna keep ripping. And sure enough, it dumped, right? And I ended up taking profit like at about break even, probably a 2x, right? And so I think what you and I have a lot of experience is being able to scale into the market during bear markets, because we know the conviction, we have the experience of the time. This is obviously my third one, your second. So it's you just have that knowledge there. And what a lot of people don't or can't do is learn how to take profit. And Alex Becker actually put out a video on this just the other day, and shout out to him, because like he talks some shit, but he actually talks some legit good stuff too, because he's a good guy. He's actually a good guy, as much as he flashes his like high lifestyle. And hey, kudos to him. He's 35 and he's worth 500 mil or something. Like, kudos to him. But like, it's like what he actually, like the underlying story, because it's, again, that's someone I like to look at too, because he's a really good gauge about, because he's super smart, man. Like, yeah, he might pump and dump shit, but like whatever. But like, he is incredibly smart in that world. So I like to look at him. I like to look at some other different traders and different sentiments. Like you said, crypto Twitter, you have to ignore that, because normies start coming in. Other people who shill their bags all the time are just like, yeah, no, it's going to keep going. I'm like, bro, it's like, it's weak, or it's like, it's like, it's far outside of Bollinger Band, whatever the indicator is, you need to go, no, I need to take some off the table. So I think what I'm looking at is, it is like, shout out to Jed again for the time there. Like, I don't know, 2025, that seems like late 2025. I don't know, like that just seems very long for me. Like, again, like I'm just going to look, like, let's go back. Excuse me, guys. Sorry, just I actually didn't test positive this morning, but I'm still recovering from COVID last week. If we look here, guys, like, I don't know, like, I suppose if you track it from the halving last cycle and the breakout, like, it was 350 days, so that's a year post halving for it to peak at the first peak. If we go back to the previous cycle, it was a bit longer, obviously. So, but again, the first real peak is at that 500-day mark. So, which is what we spoke about, where the second peak was at that 500-day. I don't know, that for me, that just seems, I think it's because the reason for me is that we front run the breakout. I think that's why I'm worried about the time-based approach with maybe holding till mid 2025. I think with the ETF news, with institutional wealth, it could be a super cycle, and BTC could run several 100K. That is my bullish scenario. You just got to remember, that is a lot of money. Like, I don't know, I'll pull this up, top assets. Just bear with me, guys. And pull this up. Okay, so this is, again, like, I look at so much shit. Like, you have to, if you like, you and I like tuned into this space every day, Craig. You have to look at stuff, because it's so many different factors that you need to consider when you're taking your plays, whether it's meme coins and stuff. And I want to touch on my meme coins trading, because I think that actually is going to help me when it comes to Solana at $500, for example. Okay, but I'll touch on that very shortly. But this is where I also start to look. So BTC's moved into the top 10 assets of all time, right? So in the world currently, obviously gold's at 13.7 trill. In my opinion, BTC beats it in whether it's 10 years or 5 years, who knows? And I think it could run. So we're currently our valuation is 42, about 40 to 42K. I think BTC realistically could hit 150. I would, maybe my bearish target's maybe 100 to 120, 115. So that's a 3x. more medium sort of level is about that 150. If we're super bullish, 220 probably. Okay, so that's, say it's a 4 to 5x. So a 4x on a 850 bill puts it at about that 4.5 trill level, which slides it as number 2, okay, as number 2 behind gold. So I think it's things like that that you also need to take a consideration around, like how much liquidity is actually in these things. But I just think, like, again, shout out to Sexy, because he showed me a tweet. I don't think I'll be able to find it, but he showed me a tweet about a guy who's just an absolute Bitcoin maxi, and the only 2 tokens he owns is Bitcoin and Solana, actually. But he's just like, okay, there's all these, like, the network effect of people coming into Bitcoin, the, like, so many different, like, really heavy sort of economic stuff that I barely understand. That, as well as just other factors like the halvening and stuff. It's yeah. Oh, Jet, hold on, mate. Jet's coming out with the bangers. We'll come back.
The real estate cycle's nice too. That's a good call.
We'll talk about this in a sec as well. But like I just think that it could be a super cycle if we really see that capital wealth come in. And that's where I'm actually like, shit, man, I'm actually underexposed to Bitcoin, and I might sell. Like, I'm still bullish on ETH. I love ETH, don't get me wrong. But shit, man, I might convert more than half my ETH.
Yeah, guys, because we just orange pilled him.
I don't know. And like, I just think I actually, for the first time in a long time, I think Bitcoin outperforms ETH. And like, you can see that on the chart. Like, let's pull that out. Actually, that's one chart we didn't look at.
Yeah.
Here we go. So yeah, look, okay, this is dead set. I don't know why I'm still bag holding my ETH, guys.
Yeah.
Like, this is on the weekly, right? This is ETH versus Bitcoin. With lower heights for literally a year and a half now. Like, it's crazy. So, and it's breaking down and it's creating a low, guys. You're gonna hear it here first. I think I'm swapping out my ETH back.
Right now.
The only reason I'll hold ETH is maybe to trade, obviously, some meme coins and maybe some NFTs as well. Like, I own some of those dice. I bought 3 of them. I wonder, hopefully they're pumping. But yeah, so
yeah, that's
goodness.
Have you noticed Greeny, on sort of on your timeline, the Ethereum people getting pretty salty?
Yes.
Oh, dude, so good.
It's just like, man,
Who cares?
Go with change. Like, seriously, go with where the money is. Go where the liquidity is. Don't get stuck bag holding. And like, oh, sorry guys, I'm gonna have to cough again.
But it's so true, and I find it funny on the timeline when I see comments like, "You guys jumping onto your Sol and AVAX, Ethereum's going to absolutely rip, and you're going to regret stepping away." It's like talking to someone like they played up on their girlfriend or something. It's like, you know what? I have both. So send them both.
Exactly.
Send them both.
Have 20% in ETH, 20% in Sol, 20% in AVAX, and you'd be a happy man. Like, you would be a happy man, right? And so this, I don't know. I'm looking at the upside here of BTC. So, goodness, sorry guys, I apologize for the coughing. So again, a fib level is at 100 grand sort of level. So again, that's psychological as well. So I think we push there, particularly with the ETF. I then think maybe perhaps those sort of levels that we're starting to see, that's still probably around a 4x and that sort of thing. So I don't know. I am very aware of Bitcoin right now.
Yeah,
I think
it's done to
a
half decent proposition with what may be coming ahead. It's sort of a balancing act, isn't it, with wanting to chase, I suppose, perceived easier gains or percentage increases versus Bitcoin and Ethereum more so now. And I'm sort of the same mindset as you, which it makes me cautious because I don't want to write Ethereum off and get caught off guard either. And I know the market can do that. It can flip real quick. So I sort of think a bit of exposure to the top dogs is probably advantageous. I don't know if you want to touch on that real estate. That's good.
Shout out to Jet for bringing that up, and that's why I kept it there, just to make sure we refer to it. And that's so true. Like, Bitcoin was created out of the 2008 financial crisis. It came like post that because of all the shit that went down, and so. Yeah, 2026 ending in blow up top. Obviously, we looked at the charts earlier, Jet, and we said that it was around that August, September sort of range, 2025, that we would expect maybe the time period to maybe be the same, which that actually far exceeds my mindset. So I don't know. We broke out last cycle. It was a 900 and something day accumulation. This cycle is 500, and the previous cycle before that was like 600, I think, from memory, 700 or 800. It was significantly lower this time. So we could be front running a bit of the news, which is where, again, I go back to what we spoke about earlier, where maybe you might want to sell a bit at the news of the ETF if we get an ungodly pump, and then maybe look to swing trade back in. But that's also dangerous. It depends on what your tax goals are, all that sort of stuff. So I don't know, like you could play it like that. But yeah, like Jet says here, guys, like it's an 18-year real estate cycle, 2026, blow off top. Like real estate in Australia, I know for sure is just crazy. Like my whole philosophy right now is to make a shit ton of crypto to then buy real estate in Australia, because that's how you make serious money. And then obviously that way I'm liquid. I pay off my tax. I get into the real estate market. I then can capitalize that for a couple of years as maybe crypto either consolidates or goes back down, and then look for it again in 3 or 4 years time. So yeah, shout out to you, Jet, for that, man. Craig, what's your 2 cents on that, mate?
Yeah, I who's at the YouTube? Is it Jason? How do you say his last name? Pisano or
Yeah, Jason P.
Yeah, he's a Gold Coast boy, I think. He's big. Well, he was the guy talking about the real estate cycle, which got me into it, and he got me looking closer at it. And to be honest, it makes a lot of sense. It really does, and it's good. I put up a tweet the other day talking about when you're looking at the market, sometimes it's good to take a big zoom out, and that was actually based on Jason's YouTube this week, where he zoomed right out into the real estate cycle and the past real estate cycles, and it lined up really well with all other markets. And so, I mean, a crypto rally all the way up till 26 does line up. But I'm like, man, that's what, 2 years?
Yeah.
Please let it be true.
Dude, I want it to be true. I want it to be true, but it's going to be like, and I think the biggest thing too, like all these people calling for Solana to hit like $600 to $1,000 range, like that's, what are we at? We hit 80 today. That's still an 8x. Like, so I think for us to get to those levels with the amount of liquidity that's in those sort of tokens, right? It has to be that time length, I think, probably at least 2025. Yeah. So it's just like we spoke about earlier, trying to take profit when you know the potential upside too. I just think maybe you do just have to, if you're a smaller wallet, you just have to start taking hundreds out. If you're a larger wallet, maybe it's thousands. If you're even larger, it's maybe 10,000s that you're taking out, and that sort of thing. So then that way you're not overexposed. That way you've locked in profit for life, for tax purposes. Like I know tax here in Australia is quite demanding. So I think that's where you just need to be smart about it. And that's probably where last cycle I wasn't smart, and then I got scammed. And so then I was I went from here to bloody here in like 2 months. And it can happen. And I'm sure, which is really sad, it's going to happen to so many people this cycle again. Probably maybe not our little communities. I think we're probably very smart. Me and you, plus some other great guys out there, are really sharing sort of the knowledge and educating people about all of these different things, because it's just such a topic of conversation that we don't probably speak enough about. And so I think it's really important that we all kind of collaborate together to maximize ourselves. And like, it's a great example, like in the group, like people, like there's so many pump and dump groups out there, but I've really tried to, and I know Divine is the same as my personal group too, because I'm in Divine, right? And we're all about maximizing gains and protecting losses for everyone, right? Like I want to win, but I want my group to win too. And I want, like, that's the whole like persona that you and me have. Like, we are educators in this space. We want people to win, but we also want people to learn and maximize their financial gain. Like, so I think aligning with some of those potential market sort of other things, and macroeconomics are a big one. If we see we're going to see rates cut next year. So I don't know. I think we've front run a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we probably front run in terms of the peak as well. So I'm hedging my bets for either late 2024 or early 2025 is when I probably say, hey, I've made a significant bag here. I can now be very happy. I can pay my tax. I can maybe get into some real estate. I'm obviously going traveling next year, so I might take some out for traveling and that sort of thing. And it's just, it's kind of like, okay, be smart. Like, yeah, okay, I'm selling Solana here at $400. That's mad. I was buying it at 20. That's a crazy, that's 20x, And if you have a lot of Solana, that's a lot of money, 20x on like tens of thousands of dollars, right? And so you need to be serious like that and be like, yeah, okay, I might be selling at 400. Yeah, it could run to 800, which is another 20x, but from your entry. But at the end of the day, you're locking in profit, and you're a smart guy because you're taking profit and you're not trying to time the top. And I think, and where I was going earlier with the meme coin conversation is, it's kind of that trading them every day has actually really helped me understand how to trade maybe from a macro scale, because you maybe not as aggressively as the meme coins because they are very risky. Like I take my initials immediately at 2x every time I go, yeah, get your initials out, right? And I'm not like, Solana's gone up a 4x since I bought, so I'm not going, oh yeah, I'm out. But like, it's still that same mindset that maybe I go, okay, as Solana hits its all-time high, actually I will take 30% out just to be like, okay, happy with that, man. Just so you're not over risk, overexposed to like, you just don't know. Like we had that FTX debacle, we had the Luna collapse, we had just FUD events like the Binance FUD. Like you just need to be. We're still very early. It's still very niche. I think maybe in the next couple of years we start to really catch on. If Bitcoin goes to number 2 largest asset in the world, you can't ignore that right now. So I think that's my 2 cents on all of that. What do you think?
No, I agree with all of that. I mean, one of the things I keep in the back of my mind when you sort of think a coin's unbeatable, unfuddable, is I think it was May 21 in the bull run, and Bitcoin hit its all-time high. It was about 69 or whatever. And then what happened was I was heavily in alts, and Elon tweeted, what did he tweet? Something about Tesla had sold a large amount of its Bitcoin. So, and my alts just got absolutely decimated, man. I was actually in the car, and my mate texted me, and he's like, shit, have you seen the tweet? And I'm like, not yet. And he goes, check Bitcoin. I was like, oh no. Because I was way up, man. I was way up in alts, and I was busy, telling myself how smart I was and riding that euphoric high, but I hadn't taken profits aggressively. And literally overnight, I think the pullbacks on those alts, I think I was looking at 40%, minus 40 or 50%. I was sitting here late that night just looking at my portfolio on Binance, and it was just negative 40, negative 40, negative 50, negative. Like I was like, holy. So something to keep in mind when you're heavily in profit, all it takes is a tweet from someone in power, and you can have the rug pulled out from you, and it can take, and don't get me wrong, the market's bounced back, but you end up getting stuck in the market for a while there. Longer than you would have, or longer than I wanted to be in there. And just I suppose something to think about for people, when you're up a lot and then the number on the computer goes down a lot, it hurts. And it's definitely not something I want people to feel. You will feel it. Everyone in here listening is probably going to feel it, unfortunately. But yeah, it's quite a painful experience to be up so high and go from bragging to your friends and bragging to yourself and your wife, and we're up this, up that. And then the next day you've gone up from being up, say 100 grand to being, man, you can be down. And
50 grand.
And you've already told yourself all the things you're going to buy and blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden you're not getting any of those things and you're at a loss, and it stings, man. And it's those memories there from last run that I use to remind myself, keep myself sober.
It's a great way to put it.
So that's probably a lesson I learned last run is, like you said, in a moment, just a tweet, just a news article, this stuff can come crumbling down, and you're going to get stuck in the market for, could be 1 month, it could be a year. For us who ran the bear, some of my bags I've had to hold. I had some bags. Here's a quick story before we go. I got into was it VXV really early, and I ran it up about 50x, and I didn't sell, and it went from, I think it was I'll just work in, I think it was in pounds I was looking at it ran up to about 18 pounds, something around there. It might have been 18 US, can't remember. It went down to about 17 cents, man. Now going from a token that I ran up 50x and it was $18, I looked at it the other week during the bear, and it was I think it was 17 cents. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like that's so bad. So don't ever think a coin can't turn to shit. It can. I mean, you tell me how something can go from $18 to 17 cents. Never would, you know what I mean? And I thought that coin was great. So don't marry your bags either. I made a big mistake there, and I'm going to be stuck in that for a while.
Yeah, and I praise that tune all the time. Don't marry bags. If it's an NFT bag, like people are holding mutants out there, and I said, hey, the better trade is to buy, like to sell your mutant, buy bloody pudgy for probably an E less at the time. And sure enough, they've gone up 3x, and mutants have literally trended down. So it's like, it's just like, okay, that's one thing. Second thing is the exchanges, the people that are like the articulate, the builders of this whole space, they know what they are doing, right? So if you go onto an exchange, what can you do? You can dollar cost into coins every single day. Coinspot, that's my, like I'm on Coinspot for Australia. You can dollar cost it into tokens weekly, daily, hourly, whatever you want to do, right? You can implement that. What they don't do is allow you to DCA out. And so that in itself teaches you a lesson. And that's where you really need to know, okay, I'm going to just have to be super vigilant, super just aware of the space where the money is, how much money I've made, okay, etc., and go, okay, I need to maximize my profits and just ignore everything and just go hit that sell button. Okay, whether it's 20%, 50%, whatever is your risk tolerance, that's what you need to do. But that's probably the best way to go about it. So I showed this comment just before, but yeah, selling July 1, 2025, lodge tax return in October 2026, so I can hold funds for over a year. I'm not sure relevant where you're based, bro, but the tax system here in Australia is a little bit different. You do have to sell mid-year, but you do have to lodge it by at least and pay it by March the following year in Australia. So yeah, fascinating insight. But you do have to play it smart with your tax, and it's often, again, not a good conversation, or not just a spoken enough conversation. So particularly if you're someone like, and I'll be honest, like I've made quite a considerable amount of money already this cycle, far exceeding what I thought I would initially, which is it's fantastic. But now, like my targets initially were probably try and make 6 figs. Now that I'm in 6 figs, I'm like, holy shit, okay. I could run this up to $500,000. So like if I play my cards right, and so again, there's a bit of transparent. Dude, relevant. I'm going to talk to you. Can you? Dude, no, actually, like I'm genuinely serious. I need to talk to an accountant or the crypto tax expert. So relevant. Can you send me a DM on Twitter? I'll get back to you ASAP, bro. Cheers for that. Thanks, bro.
I agree.
No, so
sorry.
Go.
I was going to say it's quite funny with the tax in Australia. Did you get a letter when you had to do your last tax return or your one before that? Did you get a letter from the Australian Tax Office saying, hey, we noticed you traded crypto, don't forget to include that in your return? I got that letter, and I was like, man, these guys are front running my return, which I actually thought was quite a nice, gentle reminder from the mafia to say, hey, we want our little they knew, man. They know, just assume they know everything, everyone.
And this goes back to probably a few months ago as well. Like I love that we're just going on a tangent here. This is great. But like Australian banks started to like Canada and Europe and the US were very like transparent. They're like, no, if you want to do crypto, you want to deposit in, you want to or do all that sort of stuff, then amazing. Australia was like they saw Australia's kind of maybe front running the bank. The bank industry dominates Australian stock market. Okay, you look at the top 10. It's NAB, Commonwealth, and then the supermarket. So it's Woolworths and Coles. So if you had held those stocks for probably the last 10, 15 years, you're up significantly, right? Obviously, it's more tech orientated in the US. But the reason I'm speaking about this is because the banks here in Australia, they started to realize, okay, shit, a lot of people they try and play the scam game. But if you actually look at scam rate in crypto, it's like it's the same rate as getting scammed in an email or scammed over a text or scammed on Facebook Marketplace, right? So it's this terrible narrative about, oh no, crypto's scammy. That still is sort of a narrative for normies. Yes. However, the banks play on that, right? And they go, no, like we don't want you to deposit in. So there was warnings across several banks. I know a few people hit me up because they're like, oh, hey bro, which bank are you with? Because I can't transfer in right now. They've stopped me transferring in. Again, it depends how much you're sending into the depositing and that sort of thing too. So Australia really made it more tricky to deposit money into crypto, which makes me even more bullish, I suppose, from a crypto mindset. But that's where I'm kind of thinking is that like you want to they're very aware of who owns it, and then they're also kind of saying, hey, make sure you're doing your tax properly and doing it efficiently, because if you're not, then we're gonna get you, sort of thing. So and that's why I know a lot of influencers who are probably worth millions Yeah, hold on. Mate, Relevant's coming out with all the bangers here. We'll pull this up on the screen as well. But I know that a lot of influencers move to places like Dubai and that sort of area because there's no tax there. It also means that if you split your like, I've looked into it, but like it just doesn't suit my lifestyle. But like if you live there for 6 months, live in Australia, you don't have to, like, there's certain things you don't have to pay in your home country, that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's fascinating. But yeah, shout out to our Relevant here again. CBA holds, so CBA's for non-Australians is one of the top banks in Australia. It's Commonwealth Bank. Holds my money for 24 hours and then puts money straight in. Yeah, so I don't know who you're with, Craig, but I'm with ING and I'm also with NAB, and NAB allows me to bank transfer directly in. Obviously, I'm probably not bank transferring more than like 1,000 or 10 grand, but I would never probably be deposit that amount of money. But I'm sure they might have put parameters on it if it was a significant amount. But I'm with NAB and I've had no actual dramas with depositing straight into Coinspot.
Fine. Yeah, Westpac's fine immediately, goes in straight away, direct deposit.
Yeah.
No dramas. I know a few banks had issued warnings about they were going to put monthly limits on. Was it 10 grand?
Oh, really? Yeah, okay.
A few of the banks in Australia, might have been two of them, were talking about monthly 10 grand limits, which 10 grand's not a lot, man. I mean, I know it sounds like a lot, but if you're trading a lot, it's not.
Yeah. Can you hear me? Sorry, just to clarify, can you still hear me? Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah,
sorry, AirPods.
Yeah, so I know banks were looking at that, but I don't know. There might, you don't know if there was significant enough pushback that decided not to, because I haven't heard about it again. So I wonder if that was banks kind of testing the waters, seeing what they can. But I don't know, man. I don't think banks really want to annoy their customers too much either. So it'll be interesting to see. Because, I mean, for me personally, if my bank turned around and said you can't do what you want with your money, I just go to, like, you know what I mean? It's like, no way,
yeah.
man.
Oh, and that's probably a lesson in itself too. Don't marry your bank, man. They don't look after you. They don't care. You need to, like, last year when the interest rates started going up, and obviously I don't have property, so I was like, okay, how can I maximize the best savings account? And so I looked into it, and obviously ING had the flexibility. You just had to hit certain parameters within a month, and you maximize. Like, if I stayed with NAB and had the majority of my savings in NAB, I'm getting like 1% like monthly, whereas with ING it was at 5.5% or something. So just like shop around, because it's things like that. If you if you have several $100,000 in the bank savings, like 1% is way worse than 5%. So yeah fascinating. And again, shout out to Relevant for this comment as well. But yeah, 500 clips a time. It probably, with 500, I think you're probably pretty good, because it doesn't probably come up as a radar, probably not a red alert sort of amount. And then straight into SwiftX. I do like SwiftX. I'm just more of a Coinspot guy. I've had Coinspot since 2016. Never had a drama. I've actually spoken. Yeah, I've spoken to what's his name? Thomas. He's one of the lead project managers at SwiftX. Actually, great guy. Shout out to Thomas. But so I like SwiftX. I'm a big fan of SwiftX, big fan of Coinspot here in Australia. So we're lucky that we have those sort of exchanges that we can deposit into and trade on too. So yeah, it's fascinating, man. And like, I think the whole reason we got onto this topic is because you want to try and lock in profit, right? And these exchanges, they don't allow you to DCA out of tokens. You can set obviously parameters, and you say, okay, I want to take some profit here. You know what? I should actually do that with my Solana back. I should just put them in and then just forget about it. And if it hits that level, I go, okay, that's 10K or whatever it is, right? So I should do that. But it's fascinating, because these sort of, let's call them institutions, these companies that run this place, they know what they're doing. They want you to, as bad as it seems, they want to maximize their profit in their business, right? So they don't allow you to DCA out; they allow you to DCA in. So because
that pretty much says it all, doesn't it? And I sort of treat the market as, if you look at it like a casino, that'll pretty much guide you fairly well, right? You don't want your money sitting in there any longer than you need to.
Yeah.
And if you leave it in long enough, the house always wins. And it's the same for me with the crypto market. You don't want to leave your money in there too long.
Yeah.
You can swing trade it, but certainly if you leave it in there long enough, man, they'll take it.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
Down to zero.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, so shout out to Beth Bile as well. He's also in my private group. So NAB also good. Yeah, so that's good to hear. NAB's good. ING has blocked me. I haven't tried with ING, so yeah, good to know. Fascinating. So I suppose that's probably a bit of a wrap. I might just do a little plug at the end. Like, my YouTube has taken off, guys, and I shout out for the 30 or so people who've been here live for the last 2 hours. It's fantastic for you to have the support. I'm just going to have a quick look on Twitter. We've got about 3 to 5 viewers. I'm sure they probably translate to YouTube viewers. So thanks for being here, guys. Obviously, if you are new, please subscribe to my channel. It's on the well, you should be watching. So subscribe down below, smash that like button because it helps me grow. It helps Craig grow as well. His socials down below. I need to pin his YouTube channel, so I'll update the description in a bit as well. But he's also on YouTube, so he's trying to grow his content in that video space as well. Follow Craig on Twitter. He's mad, dude. He's got up at 14K. How many followers you got now? Like 13.9 or something?
13. It's just cracked 13.1.
Okay, yeah. No,
Yeah.
shout out to you, man. Like what you do every single day in this space is amazing. You run your own alpha group called Divine Providence as well. I'm a caller in there. So do check that out on Twitter, guys. We've been smashing it. Like Diamond, shout out to Diamond. He called a 10x the other day on Newt. I know Nigma's in there as well. So there's some really good callers across different blockchains, but also just different plays, whether it's NFTs, whether it's meme coins. Craig has been on an absolute tear in Divine, guys. So if you want a bit of exposure there, it is obviously a little bit of a paid group, same as how I kind of run mine. Obviously, it's more of a subscription model, so it might be easier for you guys to enter there, dabble a little bit into Divine and see whether you like it, and then you can jump out if you're not. Obviously, if you want to have exposure to me, I've got my free Telegram group down below. Outside that, you can follow us both on Twitter. You can follow and subscribe here to me on YouTube. I'm nearly at 1K subs, which is just crazy, man. Like, I'm heating up. Let's go. But honestly, it's crazy. Like, I'm still not getting paid on YouTube. It's a journey. Like, I'm about 30% of the way, 30% of the way there. So I just got to keep hustling for probably, I think, another couple of weeks. And I think I might, if I get like daily videos out, we do a couple more streams, that sort of stuff, I might get there. So super pumped about that opportunity, but I think it's the right time to go about it. Hey, shout out to Klitos, who's in the chat as well. He's yeah, bro. Yeah, no, here you go, bro. I'm gonna shout you out. So he's linked also down below, bro. He's a homie. He's in my private group as well. He's the guy behind all the beautiful art that you see on your screen here, with all the thumbnails. So he's my main guy. Mate, shout out to him. He does a lot of graphic work. Unfortunately, man, people don't like to pay for graphics and that sort of thing, which is really sucky because his work is bloody good, man. And I agree with what he's saying here. It's the thumbnails that for sure also add to the appeal of the channel, right? So shout out to you, Klitos. I really do appreciate you, man. And I hope you have a good Christmas, bro. So thanks everyone for being here. Obviously, if you're on X or if you're on YouTube, please click follow for Craig and I. Obviously, we'll probably jump on again next week. I know I'm traveling next week, Craig. I'm not sure what your movements are.
I'll be around. I'm not traveling, so yeah, give us a shout out and
easy. Yeah, I'm sure we could lock in a time. Maybe we'll sort it out, and I'll get the marketing out as soon as possible. But shout out to everyone. Thanks for being here for an hour and 55 minutes. Really do appreciate your support. And again, please, just reach out to us at any time. We're both more than happy to educate and support you guys in the space. That's what our primary goal is. In Web3. And lastly, guys, obviously it's Christmas in about 3-4 days time. So please enjoy yourself. I put out a tweet this morning that said, it's a good time of the year. Like, please make sure that you spend some time with friends and family, even New Year's Eve as well. Like, super important. Like, we've been all hustling for months. The market's ripping. It's not going to go anywhere. I don't think it's not going to dump anytime soon. If you do see a red day, DCA into it. So please do make sure that you take some time away and you spend some time living life, because at the end of the day, we're all here to make money, but we're all here to make money to then live our lives. All right, guys. So thanks for being here. Shout out to Craig for being here as well, man. Thanks for being here, bro.
Benny, thank you very much.
Merry Christmas, everyone. It's been mad fun, bro. Great chat today. Great chat. Some solid advice. Obviously, if you're only just joining now, please do go back to the start. We talk about all Web3. We talk about different blockchains. We talk about different trades, NFTs, etc. And then we speak very specifically about how to take profit and our timeframes and our price levels, that sort of stuff. And then we also speak about maybe some tax implications and that sort of thing as well. So a great all-round stream today. So again, thanks for being here, guys. Really do appreciate it. And shout out to Craig for being here today as well.
Thanks, Greeny. Thanks, guys.
All right, cheers, guys. Have a good Christmas. See you later.